Hey there, thank you for joining me. Psychic medium Jennifer Hall here. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 amazing ways that your loved ones from heaven are trying to get your attention and how you can learn to trust that those signs are truly from them. So let's get to it. Welcome to Spirit Speaks with psychic medium Jennifer Hall. Okay, so I think that one of the most common ways that our loved ones are trying to get our attention is through our dreams, or what I sometimes like to call nighttime visitations. So let's first be clear that if our loved one is coming to us in a dream, that dream is going to be filled with beautiful feelings, maybe a young, youthful, healthy version of your loved one. If you're dreaming of your loved one, and the dream has kind of a bad vibe to it, or they aren't healthy, or you feel like as if they're trying to talk to you and they just can't, or you can't understand what they're saying or anything like that. These are also common dreams. However, I would ask you to sort of check your vibration, see where you're at in your grieving process or what's happening in your life at the time, and see if there isn't maybe something that you can do to raise your vibration a little bit in the evening before you go to bed in order to really truly allow your loved ones to come through. I would call that more of a dream than a true nighttime visitation. So when your loved ones do show up in your dream as a nighttime visitation, it is truly, like I mentioned, a feeling like as if they are there with you and they're youthful and they're happy and they're healthy. Especially, I find that loved ones that have passed from an illness, they tend to come to us to show us, hi, I'm here, but also, hi, I'm okay. And look at how good I am now. Look at how good I feel now. So pay attention to the state that your loved one is in the dream. But the reason why I think that this is probably one of the most common ways that our loved ones try to get our attention is because our conscious mind is at rest. So for once, our loved ones can come to us or maybe do something in our lives, show up without us explaining it away. We have a tendency as humans to do that, and our brains want to make sense of everything. So some of these other signs that I'm going to share with you, they tend to be easily explained away. So the dreams really truly are an easy way for your loved ones to come to you without any kind of hindrance of your conscious mind. And so usually also when you wake up in the morning or in the middle of the night or whenever you wake up, you actually feel like as if you were there with your loved one or your loved one was there with you. So that would be the first most common way that your loved ones try to get your attention from the spirit world. Okay, so number 2 on my list of how your loved ones can come to you from the spirit world to say hello is through sending you visual signs. And this one actually is super common as well. Some people tend to get the signs of butterflies or hummingbirds or cardinals and blue jays. Birds are super popular in this category. It could be dragonflies, could be rainbows or a beautiful sunset or something basically that your loved one is drawing your attention to. So your loved one is not the butterfly and your loved one is not the hummingbird coming to you, but what they're doing is they're using their energy force mixed with your energy force to draw your attention to this beautiful creature that maybe reminds you of them. So they've already known that maybe before they passed, you guys established this connection and said, okay, when you pass, come to me as a butterfly or come to me and show me a beautiful rainbow or whatever it happens to be. Or potentially just ever since they pass, whenever you see that visual sign, you tend to think of them. So Spirit knows this, and they're going to use more and more of these things in your life to show you that they're really there and that they really do have a keen interest in your life still. So if you're sitting there on a rock, let's say by a beautiful stream, and all of a sudden you just happen to turn your head to the left and there sits a beautiful dragonfly, and your mother who's in the spirit world now absolutely adored dragonflies. So that would be a perfect example of your loved one drawing your attention over there to the dragonfly and giving you that kind of feeling of sense that they are truly there, that they're the one that sent it. Okay, so number 3 on my list is super simple, pretty easy to understand. It's electricity. And electricity is another really common way that spirit comes around us because it is so simple for them to do. It really doesn't take a whole lot of energy on their behalf to flicker the lights or turn on and off the television or fiddle with the channel, the radio station, make it staticky or whatever it happens to be. So anything where there's electricity running through it, technology, that kind of thing, Spirit loves to play around with because it's super easy for them to do. Flash break here. I want you guys to comment below. Tell me what is the most common way that you feel your loved one in spirit. Number 4 on my list of common ways that your loved ones are trying to get your attention is actually music. And this is very similar to some of the other things on the list, where Spirit's actually utilizing the energies around you, the energy force of their own energy, but also your own and maybe even other people's. So for example, giving you and sending you sort of that impulse at a specific time in a specific place to turn on the radio. And all of a sudden there's the song that reminds you of them. As humans in our relationships, music means so much to many of us. And so when somebody goes, it still means just as much to us and to them. And so they'll utilize it as a little piece of validation to say, hi, I'm here and I'm watching and it's okay. I have some clients that have had really cool experiences with this where their radio will just turn on and it'll be a song that reminds them of their loved one. Or, they're driving down the road and they're just thinking about their loved one in spirit. Maybe they drove past somewhere that reminds them of them. And all of a sudden they decide to turn on the radio or change the radio station and there's their song. So I think that it can happen in very different ways, but it also is a super easy way for Spirit to grab our attention in a really obvious, in my opinion, super obvious way. Number 5 on my list is actually kind of a funny one, and it's super weird to say, but it's so common, and I know that you're going to understand it. So it's actually through the sense of smell that your loved ones will come to you. Now, I think you guys can all agree with me that our sense of smell is one of the biggest triggers for memory. And so our loved ones will utilize that in a super subtle way to let us know that they're around. So occasionally we'll associate smells with certain people. So it could be that it's triggering a memory of someone's home. Sometimes people's homes smell a certain way. It could be the smell of like a musty basement, or it could be the smell of a hot apple pie that your grandmother used to make. It could be a perfume or cologne. It could be a deodorant. It could also be somebody's shampoo or a type of soap, or it could be cigarettes or a cigar or a pipe or something that just would be super specific, that every time that you smell it or get a whiff of that you would associate that with your loved one. Now, I'm not saying that every time you're walking down the street, I mean, if you smell cigarette smoke and that reminds you of your grandfather, look around because the person 2 feet away from you might be smoking a cigarette. I'm talking about when this happens in the most craziest places. So like, let's say you're alone in your basement and all of a sudden you get a whiff of cigarette smoke and you're not lighting up a cigarette. That would be a perfect example of a loved one kind of messing with you a little bit and coming around to say, hi, it's me. So pay attention to the things that you're smelling, not just things that you're seeing with your physical eyes and feeling with your senses. We've talked about some really cool ways that your loved ones can come to you from the spirit world to be like, hi, I'm here. Hi, I'm okay. I see what's happening in your life. The thing is we don't usually believe it, or we don't really always know what's coincidence and what's your loved one. And so I want to share with you something that's kind of helped me to truly trust that it's my loved ones in spirit coming to me. So what I would suggest is to be patient with yourself and be patient with the process, especially right after somebody passes. So just be patient and kind of go with the flow as much as you possibly can, and trust that your loved one will come around you at the time that is right for them and the time that is also right for you. And also, I would say try not to have any expectations around how they're going to come around you. So it could be all sorts of different subtle ways that they're trying to get your attention that you're kind of missing because you have this expectation of one thing in particular. So those would be, a couple of pointers I think to take into consideration when you're trying to kind of navigate through the trusting aspect of all of this. I would say another thing to really consider when you're looking to trust these signs that you're getting from spirit is to go within Now, I think that what really needs to be done is that you need to pay attention to how the sign makes you feel. And also trust the fact that if you're thinking of your loved one, then it's probably because they're sending the sign. So not every time that your light flickers at your home is it your loved one trying to get your attention. Not at all. And not every time that you look at your window and you see a beautiful cardinal sitting on the fence, you might be like, oh, beautiful, a cardinal. But it's not always going to create that feeling inside of you. And I think that this comes with practice a little bit, but when you do get those true messages, those true validations, you feel so different. And you're going to look outside and you're going to see that cardinal and you're going to know that you were just thinking about your loved one and you're going to think, oh, wow, what a beautiful cardinal. Ooh, thank you. Or you're going to say, hi mom, or hi dad, or whoever it is that you're associating that cardinal with. Or, if you're driving down the road and a song comes on the radio and it really truly resonates, maybe you get the goosebumps all the way through your body and you know for sure that that's them. So really the trick into trusting if these signs are from your loved one or not is to go within and really sort of evaluate what's happening around you, evaluate your feelings, evaluate how, what happened, like the current of energy that maybe ran through your body or didn't when you saw the sign. I would say, sort of evaluate your thoughts at those moments, evaluate the surroundings. Are you somewhere that would be typical of your loved one to come with you to that place? Or are you thinking about them? Or were you just thinking about them? Were you thinking about something that kind of relates to them or that they're really eager about it, that they really loved? So really, I think it comes around to taking a second and knowing that not everything is coming from spirit, not at all, but so much is. So if we can really sort of take tabs on that stuff, if you can sit there and just briefly, I'm not talking about overanalyzing, but just briefly evaluate what's happening around you, then you'll be able to really truly trust yourself, trust your intuition, and over time, it'll become so easy for you to know exactly when your loved ones are there with you. Thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much.